service. And Will, do you offer any other services for chimneys? Or?
Oh yeah, we'll install either universal caps or custom caps. The other day we installed a cap that was 14 inches by 48 inches.
Wow.
And we got companies we can order sizes, any possible size you need.
So no matter what size your chimney is, it should be capped, and you can get any cap.
We can get a cap for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if the top of the crown, the masonry crown is deteriorated, we can repair that. We can use a crown coat. It's an excellent material, 15-year warranty on it, for, to stop any moisture intrusion, cracking, stuff like that. Very good stuff. We also re-brick a lot of wood stoves. If you're looking at your stove and your bricks are all gray and crumbly and falling apart and they're, look like little sponges, they're not insulating the stove.
Right.
And people think, and people have even been told, that the fire brick on the inside of a stove is to hold the heat and then radiate it out like a heat reflector. It's not true. The fire bricks are for insulation.
That might be true on a fireplace, though. What do you think? Because it's open? I mean...
yeah, probably.
Maybe somewhat,
maybe in a fireplace, but not really in a wood stove.
Right.
Yeah, and you've seen wood stoves that were all warped and twisted, and and then you look and there's no brick in there. Now some stoves don't have brick.
Right.
They'll have a plate and then an airspace and then another plate. They'll have something like that.
This is what happened to my Franklin stove years ago up in Montana. Was it got all warped and everything because there was no fire brick in there. It was just a thin wall. A cast iron, and like I say, they don't last forever. Pretty soon they end up out in the backyard because
they're outdoor patio burners.
Which they work great out there, but not in the home anymore.
No.
So, we're talking a little bit off the air during the last commercial break about people that actually bring their stoves to you.
Oh, yeah. Probably a couple dozen times a year. Somebody will call us up from, Young or Globe or Flagstaff or, Prescott, and they go, well, I've heard good things about you, and I want you to come service my pellet stove.
Right.
And I'm like, we can't.
It's too far to drive.
It's just too far, Then I told it, one guy got really upset that I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, I have 15,000 people within 5 miles of my house to keep warm.
Yeah.
I can't go to Flagstaff.
Yeah, you can only do so much.
Yeah, just one guy.
Yeah.
So what they do is they'll pack up their stove and bring it to me.
Okay.
We'll just plop it in the garage, and we have a guy from Young that brings up 2 or 3 stoves at a time, and because I just really can't travel there.
Right.
So he packs up the stoves, brings them up in the summertime. I'll go through them, service them, repair them, even repaint them if they want.
Repaint them.
And then he'll come pick them up.
I'll be darned. Well, that's a good service to offer.
Yeah, and we do have a trip fee out of Payson. Not like 3 miles out of Payson.
Yeah, this brings up another question I wanted to ask you is what kind of a radius do you work?
Okay, I will go down to like Tonto Basin. We go down there regularly. We will go to Forest Lakes. We get a lot of work there, and then up to Blue Ridge. That's really about as far as we go. And
of course, pine strawberry.
Oh yes, almost every day we're in either pine or strawberry, and. But my wife is very good at not taking just one job in Tonto Basin. She'll say either, if, we will, but then you're responsible for the entire trip fee.
Right.
But if you find multiple people, then the trip fee gets divided by equally by the number of people.
There you go.
So, if the trip fee is, $50, down to Tonto Basin and back, then if you find 5 people, they each pay an additional $10.
There you go. Now, how many can you service in a day?
Probably, I like to keep it at 3 complete services because they take about 2 hours apiece. 3, maybe 4, but that would be it. Chimney sweeps, sometimes they take an hour, sometimes hour and a half, sometimes 45 minutes. So we try not to overschedule.
Now, how often do you come across someone that's just been burning all kinds of pine and dampering down their stove, and it becomes all creosoted up, and it can get to the point where it's not cleanable anymore, can't it? Everything would be cleanable. It's just how much you want to put into it. We have some really aggressive mechanical means of removing creosote, which is on a chain flail, on a high-speed drill. That'll take off some, but when it's drippy, sticky,
we can't even remove that because then that'll just turn into a big gummy ball of creosote.
So, have you ever had ones where you just have to say, hey, you're going to need some new stovepipe here?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it was up in Pine. The guy had an airtight wood stove that he was burning railroad ties in.
Okay.
He was cutting up railroad ties and
which
burning
you've got
that.
all this...
it's creosote treated fur, or, it's just the worst of everything.
Well, yeah.
And I opened up, it was just running out of the cap.
Oh, my gosh.
I opened it up, and out of a 6-inch pipe, I couldn't put my thumb down it.
No
there
kidding.
was almost nothing, and just
my
almost solid. And I told him, I said, what I would do is take that pipe out, bust out what you can, set it over a campfire, burn it out, clean it, safely, and then put it back in.
Or replace it.
Or replace it. The single wall is really cheap. From the stovetop to the support box, whether it's 6 or 8 inches, single wall pipe is real cheap.
Right.
When you get into that insulated pipe from the support box up, that can be $200 for a 3-foot piece. So that stuff's really expensive.
It's pricey, yeah.
Yeah. So if a guy's got 10 feet of that,
it's going to get him some money.
Oh yeah, $700-800 pretty easy. So,
all right.
Yeah, but we do sell a lot of and get our customers the anti-creosote treatments, which is if there's a layer of creosote that we cannot physically mechanically remove, then we'll get that for them, and they spray it on the firebox, spray it on the fire, and it chemically reacts with the creosote to turn it from a non-removable, sticky, slimy form to a puffy, flaky, removable form.
Oh, and now this is the product that you buy, and what do? You spray it in there?
Yep, you actually spray it on a low fire, and it comes in a quart bottle. You spray it on, it turns to steam rises, and then reacts with the creosote. And then in 6 months or the next year, we'll come and clean it out, and it'll get better every time.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good product to know about.
Yeah, because the chain flail on the high-speed drill, you can't use it for every situation, and it's really aggressive, and you could possibly damage your system with it. So we really use that as sparingly as possible. You don't want to just jam that down everything and train it on.
Not at all. No. Okay, with the interesting show this morning, I'm finding out a lot here, and we're going to have some more. We have one more commercial break to take, so don't go away. Our phone number here is 474-2427.
If you're thinking